Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Tom on Is It Delver versus Matt's Eureka Tell list, which at this point I think we should just start calling Eurotel. That a viewer suggests that, and I wholeheartedly agree. The addition of Uro and Ice Fang Codal really changed the dynamic of this, particularly against Blue Red Delver, which to many is the default best deck in the format, even after losing the Monkey. Dragon Rage Channeler showing up for Tom. Matt knows exactly how dangerous that card is. Throws a Force of Will out there despite the fact that Daze could be a total blowout. And he does in fact get dazed. A punishing start. Dragon Rage is like a mini Sylvan library in terms of the amount of card advantage it can generate. Just in terms of card selection. Now granted, you can't pay the 4 life to draw a card with it, but you are taking a look, rearranging the cards that are going to make it into your hand. Every time you play an instant or sorcery, surveilling, putting those cards into the bin, making sure that you're drawing the best cards, or at least getting closer to the best cards. Matt goes a Veil of Summer. Tips his hand a little bit there, resolving Brainstorm. Ice Fang is going to hold off Dragon Rage Channeler for now. So it's an interesting dynamic, as once that has to attack, Ice Fang's going to be happy to block it. Tom's going to want to be careful here. With his surveils, and if he gets any type of artifacts, like Mishra's Bauble. Thoroughly going to want this to get to its larger final form. Storm with Dragon Rage, even better. Just going to go ahead and accept the top card. We see Force and Negation in the hand. Draws for turn. That basic mountain, which I actually don't love in Blue Red Delver right now. I feel like you want everything to be capable of at least tapping for blue. Probably both blue and red. We'll see how good these basics are. I suppose in this matchup, they're really not super helpful. There's nothing to go after the mana base, so this won't really be the test. I suppose it would be more along the lines of the mirror match where Wasteland can go after your dual lands, or something like Death and Taxes. Potentially losing out on double blue for Murktide could be really devastating. We've got a Veil of Summer in response to this Murktide. And a Force of Will after it resolves. Veil going to make everything uncounterable and draw a card. Murktide averted for now. Tom's got a bunch of answers, but no threats. That's going to favor the combo deck. Give combo decks forever. Eventually they will punch through. Aggressive Iteration. Tom sees Ponder, Force of Will, and a land. Puts the Force of Will on the bottom. He knows he needs to get a clock going. And he finds it. Delver of Secret has arrived. A lot of people feel like he's been obsoleted, not quite up to hang with his new counterparts. Dragon Rage Channeler, Murktide. Certainly when the Monkey was in the format, we saw a lot less of the actual Delver card, despite the Delver archetype being the most popular deck. Went from kind of being the most complained about creature in the format to mostly welcome back. Oh, and Narset. This is a big card. Veil of Summer in response. That, I guess, trying to draw into a counter. Worst case is at least drawing a card off of that Veil while he can. Narset's going to prevent him from drawing more than one card each turn. Just jamming a show and tell what the deck is all about. Could be over if Tom has a counter. It'll continue. Otherwise, it's probably going to be over on the spot. Ready to Pyroblast? Wow, I wonder if I believe this is game 1. Maybe not. It's leaving up main deck Pyroblast. Pretty severe, if that's the case. Got a Stifle on this Mystic Sanctuary, so Matt able to get a Mystic Sanctuary onto the battlefield to return that show and tell. Tom has a Stifle. That gets the mana source, but that's not really what that card's about. It's about increasing the redundancy of your lethal spells. It's exactly what show and tell is. Ooh, Ice Fang being flashed in. This Delver, this is scary. And it can draw a card too. That's just like super value. Wow, very interesting. I'll tell you, I would have really thought about blocking or not there. If Tom will actually let you go to blocks, that means he probably doesn't have a lightning bolt. You potentially swing back and clear the Narset. Very interesting, but now Uro has arrived. And this guy is a 6/6. Life gain is going to totally nullify the Delver of Secrets. And I know we saw a Force of Negation earlier. That doesn't line up at all with the creature here. Counterspells, truthfully, don't really line up with him. Even if you can kill him with a Pyroblast, he just comes right back. Throws a brutal magic card. Tom looks like he's got like 2 Wastelands in hand. Matt has 7 basic lands in play. And he's just going to go ahead and scoop it up. Moving on to the next one. That was not a favorable position at all. Trying to win with smaller creatures isn't going to work. Really, you're going to need a Murktide to be bigger than the 6/6 Uro body. Yeah, we see he's got some multiple Pyroblasts. I'm guessing that maybe this is game 2. Matt didn't reach for his sideboard. I believe this is game 2. His deck is certainly tuned toward the Delver matchup with Uro and Icefang Kotal. And gonna go ahead and throw a Force at this Dragon Rage Channeler. Force back. Wow, double Force on the 1-drop. Pitching a show and tell. What a firefight here. Brainstorm and Fetch Land. Impatient with it. Fire off. Brainstorm. Or Stifle will still stop the activated ability. Veil of Summer gives you and permanent you control. Trigger from a fetch land. Not a permanent. Double Forest. Continuing to fetch basic lands. Uro shows up, possibly Veil of Summer backup, but you're not necessarily going to fight over that anyways. Especially if they're throwing a Force of Will at it. Oh, so interesting. Surgical Extraction. Veil of Summer in response, though this won't stop the surgical. But Tom throws a Flusterstorm at it. Surgical Extraction getting Uro out of the deck. Flusterstorm, a powerful card in this matchup. I don't think it's worthwhile to fight there. Oh, but he didn't grab the Uro out of the graveyard. Oh, this is a serious misclick. Forgot to choose the Uro in the graveyard. That's one of the more graphic things that we've seen on the channel. Uro has arrived. He throws a Force of Will at it, but there's a Veil of Summer to back it up. Ooh. This is just going from bad to worse. A Preordain after as well. Bottoms 2 cards. Fuels the graveyard in case Tom can find a Pyroblast. And yeah, Tom's not going to carry on there. That's a devastating error at the end of a hard-fought match. Just not grabbing that Uro out of the graveyard. Way too large of a misplay to overcome there, as the Titan's amazing against them anyways.